Hello again, friends. Courage is a character quality that many have had to dig deep to find and practice during the long months of this pandemic. And indeed, even as things seem to reopen and move towards a more normal way of interacting with one another, it's something we'll need to find in good-sized doses. Personally, even though they haven't always gotten it right, at least it seems that way to me, I'm very grateful for the courage so many healthcare officials and even politicians have had as they made decisions in this once-in-a-lifetime, we hope, situation of challenge to the livelihood and health of millions around the world. I would not have wanted to carry the burden of responsibility on my shoulders that they've carried on our behalf, and I bet you wouldn't have wanted to either. Well, how do we find the courage to make an extraordinary decision that impacts our own future or even the future of others we love? How do we bravely try something new or go after what we really want? Fear can feel overwhelming, and too often we let it interfere with the next step we need to take. It's a challenge a lot of ordinary folks are going to face, as we all rebuild in this next season. In various forms, we've all heard the description of courage, of it not being the absence of fear, but rather our experience when we take advantage of the little strength we find within us and stubbornly stick with God, who will provide all the strength we need to do what is necessary. Having the courage to change doesn't mean we'll never experience fear. It simply means we trust God to support us as we take the next step. In the Bible, when Jesus walks on the water, the disciples are terrified when they see him. "Lord, is it you?" Peter asked. "If it is, tell me to come to you on the water." "Come," Jesus said. So Peter got out of the boat. He walked on the water towards Jesus. But when Peter saw the wind, he was afraid. He began to sink. He cried out, "Lord, save me." Right away, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. "Your faith is so small," he said. "Why did you doubt me?" Peter was a crazy man, but he also was someone who accomplished so much that we're still talking about him and learning from him 2,000 years later. Just like us, Peter made a number of bad choices when he was afraid. However, Peter also learned from the things Jesus taught him in those moments. In the story quoted above, Peter was bold enough to climb out of the boat in a storm and walk towards Jesus. Peter gathered up enough courage to take one step. He ventured out into a new experience. Now, when he looked at the circumstances around him, he suddenly got scared and started to sink. And at that moment, Peter made a choice, a good choice. He called out to Jesus and found the help he needed. Jesus then simply said to Peter, as he would say to us, "Why did you doubt me?" Well, Lord, as we move forward in this normalizing season, we need the courage to take the next step. It doesn't mean we won't be afraid or won't need help. It means we will look to you and summon the faith and courage to take one more step. As we do, God, we know you will support us with the necessary strength to continue our journey. So help us, loving God, to find the courage to take that next right step. Remind us that you're always with us so we can call to you for help in every situation. You speak to us from your word when you say, "Remember that I've commanded you to be determined, confident. Don't be afraid or discouraged. For I, the Lord your God, am with you wherever you go." We will walk with you today, God. We will trust you. We will find confidence, not in our own knowledge or ability, but in your promise to be with us wherever we go and to guide us safely on the right path. Amen. So I don't know what courage will look like in the situations you face today, but I know that God has promised to be with us. And honestly, looking at my own history of God's faithfulness to me, I have no reason to doubt. And I bet if you reflect on your history, you will see the same. Let's have a great day, filled with faith and courage.